I will find a negative in a lot of things. I can't find it here. This seems like a home run.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, first off, the ownership group I think is tip-top. They brought Todd Lywicki in, who's one of the brightest and nicest guys in pro sports. Just a brilliant guy. They brought in Victor DeBonis from the Vancouver Canucks, who's a top CFO when I was working there. I think it's a home run. I think it's going to be fabulous. And I didn't like adding teams one at a time. I wish we waited and brought in two and kept even numbers, but I'm happy with today.
Is this kind of like the blueprint now, great ownership, and then work your way to getting them into the league? It seemed like in Vegas, it was stable. Everyone knew, okay, we're going in, $500 million, now $650 million. You've got the owners, you've got the market. Is this now the blueprint moving forward?
Yes, an experienced owner, too. Mr. Bonderman's been involved with NHL teams for some time. Jerry Bruckheimer's coming in. He's got very deep pockets, loves the game, plays hockey himself. He's got a rink in one of his horse barns in Kentucky, believe it or not. So I think it's a home run. I think it's great for the Vancouver Canucks. I think it's fantastic for hockey fans in the West. It'll balance out the schedule. I think it's terrific. I really do.
The Coyotes don't exactly love it because they're moving time zones. I don't care about what they think. They go to the Central and they enjoy it because you're not going to move the Oilers or the Flames or the Canucks out of that division. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I wouldn't care if I was. I mean, in your previous existence in Calgary, if you've been paying money for Arizona and they want to stay and beat it, like you're going to the Central.
Well, and there's, let's be honest. Unless they get a building solution there, that team may not be in Phoenix. So it's a case of. I think this is okay. Now they go to Phoenix and say, get your house in order. Yeah. Literally, get your house in order. Get your building built. Or that team might end up in Houston.
Right.
What do you call the team in Seattle?
Oh, I don't know. I think the Totems has a great deal of historical resonance and pays tribute to the indigenous peoples there. Lots of salmon there. You could be the Sockeyes. You could be the Steelheads. There's a lot of good names.
All right.
Should be green and blue in the uniform, though. Should be Pacific Northwest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to be green. We all agree on that.
But I guarantee you they'll add a little bit of the fluorescent because it's done so well for the Seahawks.
Well, and the Sounders.
And the Sounders.
And the Seattle Sounders.
Yeah.
Speaking of green, Nylander got some green over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he?
I heard. Well, did you hear?
May have heard.
For the record, and I said it to him off air, right? I didn't just say this on air. I'm not saying this now because Brian's here. Because Brian took a little bit of heat for his take Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada's pregame show about Nylander and what this is kind of worth to the team. I'm with you 100%. I don't know what this does. I don't know how much better they are. Let's just talk about Saturday. Did you realize how much heat you were taking in the moment?
No.
When did someone come up to you and say, there's some people pissed at you, Burke?
No, well, I could care less. I mean, I get paid to give my opinion. I think what set a lot of people off is the comment that I don't believe the Leafs are a serious contender. So let's look at that. Okay, so let's go down the list. They have a top coach. Great, we're good there. Their goaltender has been excellent. He had a meltdown in the playoffs last year, but he's been excellent. Vezina finalist for sure, we're good there. Forwards, as deep as anyone with the possible exception of Tampa and Nashville. Check that box. But the defense is not good enough. And I'm sorry, you can... The thing I asked you guys out there, like, who would benefit more from this, the Toronto Maple Leafs winning a Stanley Cup than me? I work for Sportsnet. We would love that. I live in Toronto. It's my home city. I'm a season ticket holder, okay? I would love to see them win a Stanley Cup, but I can't root for one team. I analyze them, and you look at their defense against other top teams, it's not good enough. So don't tweet me, don't email me, don't leave a message at work. I don't care what you think. That's what I think.
Right. So let me... there's a pen drop element to that. Let me ask you this, though, because I like to study the game. I like to study all games. I think in basketball, a lot of people didn't think that the Golden State Warriors could win the way they won. They added defense to the mix, but they played a lot of offense. The Pittsburgh Penguins won back-to-back Stanley Cup championships with what I believe to be a subpar defense. Has the game changed enough that they could be rolling the dice with an offensive look and maybe win?
It can be done. It has been done. But it hasn't been done often. And last year's Stanley Cup winner was a traditional bricks and mortar team with a big defense. The last thing, which I omitted in my list, is I don't think they're built for playoff competition. And they're not big enough or mean enough. I don't think they have an answer when teams crank up the physical play like Winnipeg did, like Vegas did, like Washington did. There comes a point in the playoffs where you're probably going to have to survive some physical battles, and I don't see that either.
Right. Is it similar to the 2011 Canucks that you might know a little bit in that they had a lot of skill? Now, Kessler could provide a little bit of pushback, some sandpaper. Burroughs did a little bit of that. But when it came to Boston, it was just the wrong matchup. Do you see kind of similarities between what the Leafs have built and what the Canucks were in 2011?
Yes, and everyone, make a disclaimer here. Everyone knows how my teams play.
Right.
I like a certain style of play, and they don't have that. And Mike Babcock has never won with that, never tried to win with that. No. So that could be a mismatch in a series. And can they win 6-4 in the playoffs? Can they win a Stanley Cup even if they can't shut down top people? Theoretically, yes, it's been done.
Right.
The odds say not, and I think there are 3 better teams, and it's that simple for me. So, are they a contender? Yes. If you say, are they in a small number of teams that are in contention? Yes. Do I think they're a contender as they're currently constructed? No. I also think Kyle can fix this.
Right.
He goes at a defenseman. Get a bigger forward. I don't think Kyle is a dumb guy. I think he's a smart guy. These are fixable problems, but as of this date, those are problems for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And not just Brian Burke's view. This is what GMs all around the league tell me. Why are they picking out the parade route in Toronto?
Right.
How are they going to get past Washington, let alone beat Nashville? And that's the question.
So Nashville, Washington, and Tampa?
Those are problem teams for me.
Right.
Are Boston still not better than the Leafs when healthy?
I don't know.
What's changed with Boston?
I don't know. This team, the one thing about the Leafs is they're so deep right now. Nylander coming back. Let's not lose sight of the fact that they might have overpaid him. Well, they did overpay him. But you're putting a pretty good player back into the lineup. And they've got depth now. They've got a new look. They got different power play options. So I can see why they're all excited to get him back. This is a good player to put back in the lineup, and they've been winning without him.
The blue line, we talk about a lot. Mm-hmm. But in acquiring, is it as difficult today, Brian, do you think, as it's been in a long time to acquire that number 3 defenseman?
Yes.
That guy, like Kyle Dubas knows what he needs to do, but in this climate, how difficult is it? And does he just give Nylander 6'9" and say I'll flip him for a 3 later if Carolina didn't give me what I wanted over the last 3 weeks?
Well, I think the plan would be, and I guess Nylander. See, I don't follow anyone on social media, so everything I get is secondhand.
I'm a great follower.
I'm not interested.
Okay.
So I'm sure there are intelligent people that follow things. I just don't know any of them. But I'm told that Nylander has said he's been promised that he was not going to be traded. And I'm like, I don't believe that, first off, because GMs, we don't say that to players.
Have you said that to a player before and lied through your team?
Never. You don't say it.
But Dubas said basically after, I don't know why that's a surprise to anybody.
Okay, so he said it. I would never say it to a player because you never know what happens the next day. And now it's like DeMar DeRozan here.
Right.
He feels he was lied to. So you'll call a player and say, look, there's lots of trade rumors about you, kid. I'm not trying to trade you. But if someone offers me 10 first-round picks tomorrow, you're on a plane, son.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm not trying to trade you.
Because that is your job.
That's right.
Your job is to treat this roster from day to day in a way you think is best.
Yeah. So I don't. If Kyle said that, then this is how you deal with millennials, I guess. Maybe I'm getting too old. Maybe it's a good time to get out when I get out, because I would never say that to a player because I might have to trade him tomorrow. So you give him the speech. I'm not trying to trade you, but if I get the right deal, you're on a plane.
Yeah. He said a couple things here where people are just kind of writing down in the old "we can and we will" is written down in the old book, and this assurances thing is going to be another one written down in the book. And maybe he's able to do it without trading Nylander, and he's got another thing in his mind.
But it's sure the way they structure the contract, it sure screams like trade him in the summer.
Right.
After July 1.
Yeah, once the bonus is hit after July.
Because then lots of teams would be in on that once you've swallowed that big egg, right?
Yeah, a chunk of money. Yeah.
Look, I mean, I don't mind anyone who thinks William Nylander is all that in a bag of chips. In 7 games against Boston last year in the playoffs, he had a goal.
Right.
That ain't going to cut it.
No, but he's going to be playing with a lot of guys that can help him get more goals.
Well,
yeah, and you can't hang a playoff on a kid that young. I don't think.
But how is this team going to be judged, Brian?
Yeah, well, this
regular
it's a year
season,
later.
it's nice.
And that's the other thing. That's why I didn't prepare a list. I didn't know we were talking Nylander. I'd be so happy to talk. The other thing is they're going to play teams where the average number of playoff games played on the other team is 15 to 25, right. And they're all at 7.
Right.
And so that's a big thing. They have no experience, which I think is invaluable. We won in Anaheim the year before we played in the conference final. I'm convinced we don't win unless we get that playoff experience the year before.
I don't know what Buffalo is, but it looks like Boston and Tampa.
Buffalo
it's going to be the matchup in the first round for these Toronto. Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Brian.